everybody, it's your boy Frank. I'm here with Abdullah Uther, and what are we doing today?
Today I'm showing you guys Time Thieves. Honestly, you play a bunch of other stuff in the deck too, but like the Time Thieves are really good cards. And when we get into it, I'll explain like why they're really good, especially the extra deck monster, which is like probably the best, if not the second best card in the set. So we'll just get right into it. So we play 2 Time Thief Bezel Ship.
What's this do?
All right, first of all, the name is sick, the name is dope, and it hits on all different levels. The best part about this card is, so when this card's in the graveyard, you can attach an Xyz material attached to one of your monsters, and you get special summon it. When it's on the field, you contribute it, you can attach a material from your opponent's grave. So this guy basically, like, he like material fixes, which is, I guess, not a term, but now it's a term, and I copyright that. So if I hear anybody else saying that, I will send you an invoice. I'm on my way to law school, I will find you. All right, so we play 2 of these just because, like, this card doesn't actually do anything in the hand. It only does something on the board. In the graveyard, and I guess on the board as well, but it doesn't do anything else. Then we play 3 Regulators. This card is basically Rescue Rabbit. Tutors out from the deck, so if you control no other monsters, you contribute it, and you can summon 2 Time Thief monsters from your deck with different names. You have to like not control other monsters, which is kind of annoying, but it's a really good starter by itself. And it is a level 4 on its own. And when it's in the graveyard, if an Xyz monster you control will be destroyed by battle, you can summon this card, but then banish it when it leaves the field. That effect isn't too relevant just because your monsters are always like dancing in and out, but just being able to summon 2 cards for a normal summon is pretty good. And like in this deck, like you only really have like 2 normals. Then we play Time Thief Winder. This card's like closer to Candida than it is to Stratos because it searches anything in the archetype, so the spells and the trap as well, and anything else that's coming out. It's also really good because in the hand it has another effect where you can attach a material attached to one of your Time Thief attached to any one of your Xyz monsters. You special it from your hand, and you get to search any other card. Both the effects are once per turn, so you get like normal one, then later on in the combo like special another one, just to get like another level 4 on board. And this is really like your only real normal summon other than the Regulator. The really cool thing is that it triggers off special summons as well. So if you tribute it, if you special it off the Regulator, like you'll still get the effect. And if you summon it off like Saryuja or something, like you'll still get the effect or Monster Reborn. So it's really nice because of that. And now we move on to the supporting engine. And of course, like we play Dangers because Dangers are all really, really strong. And in this deck, they're super consistent and they get put bodies on the board for some of the Xyz monsters as well as some of the Link monsters that you play in the extra deck. And what's super relevant about the Time Thieves that I didn't really talk about is the fact that they're all darks. So it means you get to play like Rusty, you get to play Lure of Darkness, just like really good consistency cards. And Rusty is just an insane card by itself. And because you play Rusty and you have access to Rusty and they're also level 4s, you have the win condition of like Acid Thought. So you play 3 Mothman just because he's a level 4. He's also not a bad danger in himself, and like 1800 attack is I guess relevant. Like going second in the deck, you just try to like put up damage, and Mothman doing 18 is pretty good. And also being able to discard to send your Bezel Ship to the grave is pretty good as well as some of the other cards that we play. So past Mothman, we play 3 Chupacabra. Again, like he's not the greatest, same with Mothman, but he's a level 4. And if you have a danger in the grave, like he becomes insane. And like the craziest thing about like Chupacabra is that this dude is so bad by himself because if he gets hit, you're so sad. But if he goes off, he's just so good too. So it's like you play him for that. Mothman's a little bit like better if you hit Mothman, but like Chupacabra is like really, really good, and he becomes just as good as Nessie, Jackalope, and all those boys. Like if there is a danger in grave, which is super easy to do. Then we play 3 Jackalope. We're playing triple Jackalope just because Jackalope actually turns into one of the 4s. So he is a 3, but like if they hit the Jackalope, you summon a 4 from deck, and you can make like a redoer play or like another level 4 play or a rank 4 play. Sorry. If you don't hit it, it's just a body on board, gets you a draw, lets you get to your other pieces, and because he's a dark, you can make Bardachi with him. Then we play 3 Nessie. It's like the same theory with the Jackalope. Like if Nessie gets hit, he turns into a 4. And like if Nessie gets hit, then your Chupacabra is really good. And also if Nessie doesn't get hit, obviously you just get the draw as well and just put another body on board. And like sometimes he's like really annoying with 2800 defense, like Trickstars can't kill it. Ultrageist actually struggles, so like you really want to Mellow Seek send this to the graveyard, bro? Like yeah, that's how we live in. And again, he's just like an upstart with the same. We only play 2 Snakes just because Snake is just a 3. Like he's never anything more. Like Chupacabra's a 4, Nessie's a 4, Jackalope's a 4. This boy is just a 3. Like yeah, he's a guaranteed special, which is really nice sometimes. And sometimes you really do need it. So I don't know if you could bump him up to 3. You probably could. Like they're all just broken anyway. But the reason why we only play 2 is because he's just a 3. He doesn't turn into anything else, and he can upstart as well. We play 14 Dangers in the deck. We play 40 cards total, so that means we're playing 26 cards, and we got bodies on board, you know. Then for the next supporting engine we play is the Phantom Knights. So we play the 2 Silent Boots and the 1 Ancient Cloak. This guy's really good just because he gets to search anything really, and you play more than one PK spell or trap, so you can really have access to everything. And Ancient Cloak kind of does the same thing. The reason why we're only playing, we're playing more boots than Ancient Cloak is because you can special this from your hand too if you control a PK monster. And again, it just helps like with link plays, like link climbing and all that. It's not the most relevant. Sometimes you have awkward hands where you need to use your Brigandine and special this and make a play, and then Cloak is just a good card.
So Dangers get us another level 4, but why are we playing the Phantom Knight engine at all?
So the reason why we play the PKs is because you want to get to your rank up magic, the spell I'll show you, which gets you to your Azathoth on turn 1. So right now in this game, like you don't actually have to do too much to be putting up like these huge ass negates. So like instead you just Azathoth your opponent, and if it's the right matchup, like they just don't play. And then against other matchups, like where you don't need to Azathoth them, your Redoer does a lot of work by himself, as well as some of the rank 4 toolbox that you get to play. Like rank 4s are really strong. They're in the same category as like Link 2s and like level 8 synchro monsters, and this deck just gets to play some of the best ones in the game. And like a lot of the rank 4s are like floodgates. So the reason why we play these is just because this guy becomes a 4-2, like he through Brigandine. If he gets sent to the graveyard, he turns into a 4. This dude same way, turns into a 4, and they also just special themselves. Plus they're dark, so it's easy to make Bardachi. They're allure targets. They're just good cards. And if you have 2 of these, you can special both of them, I guess, and like make some weird plays, but it's because they also turn into 4s. Now you play Zephyros. Zephyros is insane. We're playing Dangers in the deck, and Zephyros can just bounce the Dangers, you can summon the Dangers again. Like if you normaled at the Time Winder, the Time Thief Winder, like you can bounce it back with a Zephyros, special Zephyros, use the Winder effect, attach a material, summon the monster. Just because like when you make your rank 4 play, like it doesn't actually matter how many materials are on it. Just because like you're gonna jump, use this effect to jump out and then have the Winder trigger. So Zephyros is really good. He's just another extender. He's not that great when you draw him. Like neither are like the PK boots, but like that's why we're minimizing the cards that we draw that are bad in hand. Like this guy is good with other cards, but he's so good with other cards that he justifies being played. Moving on, we'll go on to the spells. I don't know how many monsters there are. We're playing 40 cards in the deck, and 14 are Dangers, 3 PKs, 17, 8 of the other guys, 25. Zephyros. We're playing 26 monsters. There you go, boys.
Big mass.
Big mass. Quick tings, you done know. We'll move on. We play 3 Instant Fusions, just because Instant Fusion, again, turns into a level 4. It has some other applications in the deck as well, as going second. The monster you're going to be Instant Fusioning out, you guys will see in the extra deck later, lets you play through some back row, play through some boards. And again, it's just another extender. Like sometimes like your normal summon is one of the only ways you get to level 4. So you want most of your specials to get to 4, and Instant Fusion does that really well. And the card is just very powerful. Like this card is nuts. This card, I don't know why it's still been at 3. Like the card is insane. Then we play the Allures. Again, these are consistency cards. We play so many darks in the deck. I think actually every single monster in this deck is dark, and Allure just lets us see 2 more cards, and you don't really care what you're banishing too much because you just need to, like for your first turn, like you just really need to get to Redoer to get into like Azathoth, you Azathoth your opponent and you just win, or you grind them out of the game with the Redoer because the card is just insane. And yeah, we're not playing hand traps or anything like that because we're trying to take like most advantage of the Dangers, and I think that for this format, like hand traps aren't the greatest thing anyway. If you play against Thunder and you go first and you Azathoth them, they just pass. And they can't even like set up a snow play through like a Foolish or a Brilliant because she's dead. So the Allure is just really good. It's a really good card, and like we're only drawing into cards that let us special summon and put more bodies on board. Like you can't Allure into a hand trap and say, great, I'm gonna trade 1 for 1 with my Ash Blossom. We play Monster Reborn, again, same reasoning as like the Instant Fusion. It usually puts a 4 on board. It gives us, sometimes you're missing that 1 card, and it helps you get to that. It helps you get to the 4 that you're missing. And when you draw it, you can play kind of recklessly with other stuff. And going second, the card is also like underrated, really good. Like Ray is a 4, so you just Monster Reborn Ray, and you can like make a play with that. You can Monster Reborn like a Marionetter. Like it doesn't come up that often, but when it does, it's nice to have. And just drawing the card is really good because you're playing so many Dangers that your graveyard will be loaded up. And Reborn is really good. The crazy thing is that like if you have a Redoer in your graveyard and you reborn it, like you can get material in that Redoer, like through the Time Winder, like the Time Winder searching the trap, or just the effect itself, like the passive effect to attach during standby. And then we play Reasoning. So Reasoning is good. It just puts a body on board. Usually it's a 4. If it's not a 4, great. Like when you play against this deck, like most good players are gonna be like, oh, he activated Reasoning blind. Like he's probably playing Infernoids. They call 1. You summon whatever monster you want to summon. If they call 4 for whatever reason or whatever other card, you play so many different levels in this deck. Like you got 4s, you got 3s, 6s, or sorry, 7s. Like there's so many things that like you're gonna hit something. And even if they call 4, if you reveal like Bezel or Zephyros, like you want those in the grave regardless. If they call 3, like you might hit a PK. So it's just a good card. Like it puts a body on board for the most part, and it's just really good in this deck. Yeah, just load up your grave. And then we play the one of the win conditions of the deck, the PK rank up trap or rank up spell. You get to set it with Brigandi or Bardachi. You can set it with the PK monster. You can search it, and it lets you Azathoth. So like turn 1, like sometimes your boards are really like they're subpar if you try to snap. So instead you just do this, you Azathoth them, and if they're playing like Burning Abyss, they can't play. If they're playing Thunder Dragons, you can't play. If they're playing like even Pendulums, like they put some weird board up. Like Electromite's a problem, and then so this just has no. A Soul doesn't get to play. Helix doesn't get to play. The card is like Azathoth is insane, and this lets you get to Azathoth, and it's really easy to meet the requirements of this card. So it's just super powerful, and it lets us like basically make like a Goki board going first, which is like really good. Like you can do all that cute stuff, and you just do this and like save a lot of your resources. It's just a card that it has a lot of text, but it does something very simple, and that card it's really powerful. You're gonna see a lot more of this card. This card's nuts. We don't play any of the Time Thief spell card. The card's not very good. Like, I guess going second, it can stop, like, Geist from targeting or, like, negating your stuff. Like, if they target, stop Soap from bouncing, and Sky Striker will stop your Widowmakers. But, like, the card doesn't do anything. Like, this deck cannot afford to play cards that don't do anything, and that card just doesn't do anything. It doesn't accomplish anything. You can attack directly, I guess, with it, but, like, that's just cheeky. You want to control your opponent out of the game and, like, really leave them with minimal resources, like, and it doesn't contribute to that in any way. Like, I guess attaching it from deck or searching it is like cool, but it's not that great. It does fuck all. Now we play 2 of the Burgundy. Burgundy's level 4 because again, it turns into a level 4. That's why this card is so good. And it has like double synergy with our deck because we play Redoer, and his effect, and I'll get into it when I get to him, his effect is nuts because you get to non-targeting spin something back. And that's so insane. Like, just think about it. Like, some of the most powerful cards in the game right now, like Yazi and things like that, like, this just says no. Like, it doesn't target. It's non-targeting, non-destructive removal that you can recycle. The card is nuts, and also it's like just another card you can put on board for like Saryuja or other Link plays. It's really good. And then we'll play the 1 Fogblade. It's another card to set off the Bardachi. And like Bardachi is like, that card is so good. I know I said it like six different ways, but it doesn't matter. I don't know how to pronounce it. That guy's really good. That boy really good. So just being able to toolbox with him is like really useful. So you can set the Fogblade, you can set it off the boots, like you can set the PK, the rank up spell. It's a good card. Plus, like you can banish from the grave and summon. But it's just nice to have this, like to have a little bit more of like protection on some of your cards. And like this plus Redoer is relevant. Like it's a good card. It has a lot of utility in our deck. And then we play 2 of the Time Thief Flyback. The card is really good. You don't play 3 because this doesn't. You usually just resolve the first effect like once in the duel, if at all. The really nice thing about it is that also in the graveyard it has an effect, which means like so. Okay, when you activate this card, it's like Zodiac Combo, where it attaches a material from deck to one of your Time Thief monsters, and it's any Time Thief card. So you can like attach Flyback and like attach it to the monster, get a trap on your card. And then its secondary effect is like you can banish it from grave and attach a card from your opponent's graveyard to your monster, which is super good because it's spell speed too. So they can like try to set up a play. You banish this, set a trap from their graveyard, and now your Redoer has non-targeting removal. So the card's just really good. I wouldn't play 3. So that's 40 in the main, like 26. We're playing Dangers. I was playing Upstart, but you don't need to. So we'll move on to the extra deck. We'll play the instant fusion target, which is Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Card's really good just because you can change the attribute of it. It's a quick effect, and then all monsters you control that attribute can't be targeted. So we use this to really play through a lot of back row. It just so happens to be level 4, but it's like a level 4 with upside, so it's like really, really powerful. And again, you can reborn it later because instant fusion is like a real fusion summon. So we play Mud Dragon. It's just a fusion target. It's really good. The OCG's been playing this card with Super Poly and stuff, so I guess you could play Super Poly, but you shouldn't because it's not very good. We'll go into the Link monsters. So we play the Space Insulator. It's really just a ladder up to the Bardachi. Like it's a good card. That's all you play it for. It's a ladder. We play the Nightmares, Cerberus, the Phoenix, and the Unicorn. These are all generically very powerful. Spot removal for Cerberus, spot removal for Phoenix, and Unicorn just gets rid of anything. And like sometimes getting rid of Fogblade monsters is a problem. So you have the Phoenix, the Cerberus, and the Unicorn, which are all relevant in that. And they're all just very powerful cards. Like we don't really need to explain these cards. They're really good. And the twos really help you ladder up into your one of your win conditions in the deck. And then we'll go on to the 3. So this guy's insane. Like he's so close to taking over a format. The card makes so many decks relevant, and like by himself, he just enables so many insane plays. Like just being able to Azathoth on your opponent's turn. Like that's all because of this dude. And like yeah, you can't link with him, but that's okay. Like if you can link with this card will be the best link monster in the game. And right now, he probably has an argument to be the best link monster in the game. It's super easy to make in this deck, and like you can ladder with the Space Insulator. You can ladder with like your other Dangers and just the body. Also 2Ks. 2100 is relevant just to put numbers on. And then we'll go up to the Link Forest. So we have the Skull Dread. Skull Dread is for hand fixing. You spam monsters so easily, and this guy basically grants you another normal summon or a special summon. So he lets you get to your 4 as well. And sometimes you'll have hands that can make Skull Dread but can't make anything else. Like this deck isn't like other decks where you can, even though you're playing monsters with different types but the same attribute, like you can't Curious that efficiently. So Skull Dread is like really good just to clean up your hand, and this guy has always been that. Like, so the card's insane. It doesn't really need too much of an explanation, and it helps your Redoer swing over stuff, and like you can do cheeky stuff like have Redoer with like Eradicator your Redoer. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do with this card. Then we'll go to Boral Sword. Boral Sword's insane in this deck just because, again, like turn 1 you Azathoth lock them, then you need to turn your Azathoth into something, and like Boral Sword Dragon is one of the best cards for that. This could be a Borreload, but you just want to put, like, you can get, Borreload is good for spot removal, right? But your Redoer does that, and all your rank 4s, they all do that. They're really good for spot removal, so, like, and to deal with monsters that can't be targeted or can't be destroyed by battle. And Boral Sword is just really good. Sometimes against Sky Striker, like, you have so much advantage on them with, like, your monsters, like, dancing in and out of the board that they'll, like, Eagle Booster, and then, like, you'll Boral Sword and, like, hit them for, like, 7k and just, like, kill them through the Eagle Booster. So the card is really good for that, and if Thunder Dragon players leave their monsters in attack position, you can really punish them with Boral Sword and some of the other cards that we play in here. You can put up, like, 10k really easily in a turn. Those are all for the Link monsters. Then we play all the rank 4s. So Azathoth is basically a rank 4 because of the rank up spell. And basically when this guy's summoned, no more monster effects can be activated. It's not an activated effect, and because he's being summoned on a chain, usually as Chain Link 2, there's nothing you can do to this guy because you summon him, the chain's resolving, doesn't matter, bro. Like, just stuns your opponent for a turn, and it literally lets you play decks like this where you just put up like rank 4s because you Azathoth stun them. And he's also a dark, so we didn't talk about it for Bardacci, but I guess like everybody should know about it. But if you summon a dark to his pointer, you gotta pop a card on the field, and when you do the rank up spell, like you get to, this is XYZ summoning a dark monster basically, so you'll be able to pop a card on the board. Also Azathoth, and like Azathoth is just really good for that. And you don't use your rank up spell like right away. You don't need to shotgun it because you can get value out of Redoer spin back. You can get value out of this guy's pop, and then Azathoth is just really, really good. Now we'll move on to the 4s. Abyss Dweller, guy's a walking floodgate. This dude's been insane for I don't know how long, since Spiral format. Same thing now, you'll establish your Dweller against like Draco, Burning Abyss, Thunder Dragons, Dinos, and it just says no, you can't play the game. And also he's really good because of quick effects. You can Dweller on your turn and Dweller on your opponent's turn to be able to like use the rank up spell if you don't want to use it on like your Redoer. Maybe it's a matchup where Redoer is like really useful, like against Thunder. Like you can Dweller them, they make a Colossus, and then you have like Dweller, Redoer, and then you like Dweller them, they make one Colossus, you Redoer away the last Colossus, and then you just Bushido OTK. Card's really good. There's also some like, once the Dane comes out, there's other cards that we can play that'll help us make a Bahamut Shark Toad in this deck. Then we'll move on to Tornado Dragon. Again, very powerful generic rank 4. Guy's got 2100 attack. That's not too relevant, but quick effect, being able to pop spell trap card on the field is really good, and also being able to get off his material on your turn as well as your opponent's turn is really valuable. It really helps you in the grind game. This deck is really good at grinding, and its turn 2 play is so powerful. So Tornado is just another really good card. It just deals with problems, and sometimes you usually have like a Redoer and another rank 4 under your Bardacci, and like this is one of the guys that you can make. You can play Karen Gorgon, but I didn't find space for it. This is just a really good card as well. It deals with Striker and Geist. And then we play the Utopia package, Lightning and Utopia, and this lets you deal with cards like that float, like Cosmos. You can kill Cosmo monsters with it. You can kill Sky Strikers without triggering Ray. Like the card is really good, but one of the most relevant things about Lightning is the fact that the guy hits for 5k. Like you can punch through a Link Kribo, and they can't do anything but take 4700 damage on that. And like you'll have like Boral Sword Lightning, and this is his game. Like you'll go Lightning, hit for like 47 over the Link Kribo, and like Boral Sword turn defense and kill him. It's another card that just puts up numbers. Once we get the Utopia double card, I don't know when that's coming out. It follows the same principle. In this deck, this has more than that for utility though, because you can do something like when you overlay the Lightning. So you have two materials under the Utopia. Let's say these are the materials, and then you make the Lightning, right? So you have one extra material that never gets used. But with your Time Thief cards, you can just attach the material to some of the Winder or some of the Bezel, so you get another card. You get even more value out of the Lightning, and it's just in a deck like this, which is basically value oriented. It's really nice for that. It doesn't come up too much, but it's nice that it's there. And then like the star of the deck, Redoer. We don't need to play 3 because you really do get to, like, the game usually ends. If you have 2 of these guys out dancing in and out of the board, like, it's really annoying to deal with. This card is insane. Like, after, like, Phantasm Dragon, this is probably the best card in the set, in my opinion. There's a lot of really good cards in the set, but, like, this dude is nuts. Like, you really have to play this card and play against this card to realize just how insane this guy is. Being able to, so his effect is that once per turn during the standby phase, you can attach the top card of your opponent's deck to this card as XYZ material. And so it'll be a trap, spell, monster, it doesn't matter. And then quick effect during either player's turn, you can detach as many materials from this card as you want and then apply the following effects. If you detach a monster card, you banish this until the end phase, kind of like Omega. If you detach a spell card, you draw a card, which is just nuts. Like, drawing one card is insane. And then, like, if you detach a trap card, you get to non-targeting, take a card from your opponent's side of the field face up, and put it on top of their deck. So it has removal, it has, like, you know, it has draw power, and it just dodges removal and stuff. And that's the craziest thing about this card is, like, it's so hard to deal with. Like, if you've played in formats where there's multiple Omegas dancing in and out of the board, like, you understand how annoying that is. Omega also takes a card from you. This thing is insane because sometimes, like, you'll attach a spell and a trap and just get a free effect. Like, you make this guy with a trap usually. That's why the Brigandine is so insane, is because that literally lets you make this guy with a trap card. The dude's nuts. Like, if you get more support, it'll get even better. But this is the star of the deck. This is why you want to play the deck, because of this guy. The craziest thing is you'll activate his effect. He'll have no materials left, and then you get to Azathoth your opponent. And so you usually get a draw card, you know, spin a card, Azathoth them, Bardacci, pop a card. Like, you get so far ahead from there that, like, it really is the incremental advantage that helps you win the game. Again, you have to play this card and play against this card to really realize how insane it is. That's all we have for now. The side deck is obviously relevant to your metagame, and there's going to be a lot of changes for this deck. I was pleasantly surprised by this deck, and I think it's actually decent. Like, Dangers obviously make it better, and the PKs make it better, but any deck that can abuse two of the strongest engines in the game right now is probably a pretty good deck. And Redoer is so good that he's going to be played in other decks, and just being able to play, like, the rank 4s again is super nostalgic. That's all for now. Shout out to everybody watching this video. Shout out to Ather Gaming. Shout out to everybody. Have a great day, guys.